I'll call this meeting to order. Are there any announcements? Okay, not hearing any. John, who's with us electronically?
Other than nobody is.
Must be just happens all the time. Okay, I would like to, well, I'm hearing anything else. I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
I moved in second.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
It is approved. Let's move on to our public forum. Before the public forum. Ms. Alyssa, thank you for attending. Okay, I'm not trying to sound like a sissy, but I don't
Cold
want
out
to
there.
get dressed up. We're in Michelin suit.
I was waiting for the cancellation call.
She made me take. Because your car doesn't work, take my car. But my car works. Okay. Public forum, so nobody pushed me to address it. I can see the chase, very good. Over the consent calendar, is there any item from the consent calendar that any of the managers would like to pull? Speak now or hold your peace. Okay, not hearing anything. I would like to make a motion to approve the consent calendar. Do I have a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded.
Aye.
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 Hi.
Thank you, Rick. Okay, updates. Partners, volunteers. Miss Alyssa Thompson is with us from Washington Conservation District. She's obviously the best management practices program coordinator. So. John, what are we gonna do with her today?
I have one quick presentation.
Yeah, Mr. President, her presentation is included in the packet and it's also on the screen behind you.
Oh, very good.
So she'll review the 2025 program, talk about some suggestions. And then managers that asked that they have opportunity to talk with her about some of the decisions or indications that the manager said after the workshop last October.
Thank you, sir. So I would like to go ahead and ask.
Sure. 2025 was another good year for like program implementation in Valley Branch. So this presentation might look familiar. It's pretty similar to.
Oh, yeah.
But countywide, we had 363 site visits, which is the most we've ever had. That includes all the watershed districts of the county. And we had 117 projects implemented last year.
Okay.
And this is Valley Branch specifically, for all of our data that we have for all the years. So cumulatively, we've done 1,182 projects throughout Valley Branch. And that's the phosphorus reduction that we've calculated and the sediment. And then this is countywide, what we did in 2025, and the dots are the distribution of the practices that were implemented throughout the county. So we did 117 projects. And in Valley Branch 2025, we had 97 site visits throughout Valley Branch, and we had 34 projects going, which is the same amount of projects as 2024, but quite a few more site visits.
Very quickly, the conservation district pays you visit the sites or the county? Oh,
We have an agreement with the county through their land and water program
right.
to provide funds for us to go out and do the site visits.
And you're assigned, or do you, are you proactive in doing this sort of thing?
It depends on the watershed. So some watersheds ask us to target specific areas and we'll send out mailers offering our services. Other times we just get, landowners get directed to us and we go out and visit them. So it's a little bit of,
Okay. You're busy.
yes.
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
On the map, just the dot colors, I was just curious, there's, seems like within the 34 Valley Branch ones, there's a lot of green, and there's one kind of a purplish color.
Yeah, there's
You
a
know what?
random blue one up there too.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you know, what those, denote the different colors?
I believe it's based on practice type, so, I can't remember if the blue, I think purple is a shoreline. I think green are just pollinator / native planting.
Okay, planting type projects.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I assumed, and I thought that one might be a shoreline.
Yep, and I'm not remembering what the blue,
How heavily studded after this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe more of an erosion control possibly or something, yeah.
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think that the shoreline one was de Montreville, correct? With the
With the Carmelites or
Carmelites, yes.
oh, yes. Mhm. Thank you, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cloistered, do they talk to you or?
Mhm.
Okay.
Depends on the time of day. Seriously,
Vespers, during
there's
vespers.
no work allowed at a certain point of the day. They're closed.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, that was my coworker Lori's project, so I'm not super familiar. But you did see a lot of dots in Acton again this year because we had the pollinator pathways program, which was additional funding through the Board of Water and Soil Resources. So we did, Acton is a demonstration neighborhood for pollinator pathways, and we have one in Oakdale and one in Newport, one in St. Paul Park and one in Stillwater. And then we're also working with schools countywide to implement some practices. So Acton being one of the core areas did get a little bit more attention this year.
Okay,
Which these are some of the pollinator pathways projects that went in Acton.
continue.
And our pollinator meadow was closed out this year. That was a 12.5 acre seeding that also had funds from called NECWIC, the National Wildlife Conservation Funds, something like that. So that was another joint project with another funding partner. And the Montessori School, this was one of our community grants this year. That's the septic mound, and that is year one, lots of partridge pea coming in. That's the yellow flower in there. So
Okay,
it's looking really good. Proposed program goals for 2026, looking at increasing the shoreline projects and marketing around the new shoreline grant, see if we can garner up some interest there in the Tri-Lakes area and perhaps around Lake Elmo or any other lakes you all would like us to target more specifically. Also maybe an increase in education events. Some of the other watershed districts are hosting more education events and doing some hike and learn opportunities throughout their district to get a little bit more engagement.
Do we have a hike scheduled in our district at all?
Not at this time. The only ones that I'm aware of are in South Launch currently, and they're doing a monthly hike and learn.
And are those open just generally to the residents?
Yep.
okay. Thank you very much. Do you gentlemen have any more questions or comments
Yeah,
regarding this presentation?
could we back up to the 1182 BFD slide? So the point I was making a while ago when we were talking about, the value of the program and so I'm all for reforming the program to make it more efficient, but these small programs that don't appear like they do very much. You do enough of it, some total across the landscape, it adds up, right? So, I mean, we've assaulted the natural environment. And it's been like a death by 1,000 cuts in many cases. And this is an example where it's gonna be probably fixed with many, many projects, right? So Just a simple point I wanted to make, it's fairly impressive, the cumulative amount of stuff that's been done over time in our district and elsewhere, I'll add too, so.
Yeah,
My simple point.
it's a good point, and I'm gonna fess up. Not in confessional or anything, but I'm gonna tell you something, that, I'm always concerned about, I don't wanna say improper, but wasteful use of taxpayer money. And I'm convinced that that's not what's happening. So that was my main concern with all of the things that I wanted to see about, how we implement or what we do to, make these things happen. And the impetus was, of course, education, but it's much more. There, I said it. All right. Any more from, any of you gentlemen?
You're on the ground with this stuff all the time, so you've probably seen flaws in the program or things that can be improved. Do you have any suggestions for us that it would make your job easier, make the outreach easier?
I think adding the shoreline grants goes a long way toward, fixing that one particular area of concern. Hopefully we can get some more shoreline implementation this year. I don't think I've gotten a lot of interest in it, but people haven't started implementing their practices yet. They're kind of going after it. I think sometimes those take a little bit longer for people to pull the trigger on them. But I'm hopeful we'll start to see that trickle down effect this year.
When you do site visits that don't end up leading to any projects, is there a common denominator between why people don't, they have you come out and then they say, we're not gonna do it?
Good question.
Yeah, it's usually a time or money type thing. So if they don't have the time to do it and have to hire a contractor to do it, it gets really expensive. If they do have the time to do it, sometimes they don't always have the funds to do it themselves either, or to provide the extra dollars. So I think that's the biggest barrier. Or sometimes just feeling overwhelmed by the process, which the hope is that us being out there to help them out will make them feel less overwhelmed about the process.
Okay, so we're gonna shift over to the memorandum on the requested manager action. Now, I don't know if we need to go into this except to get to what we want to implement, what we want to do. So I would like to go to page 2, unless maybe you gentlemen have something further regarding how we're gonna go about this, because we've gone over this for a variety of things, and now we're looking at what it is we want to add or do. And the projects proposed additional criteria must include at least 250 square feet of planting on contiguous areas are allowed, or the applicant may provide documentation that demonstrates exceptional water quality benefits. How does that happen? What can you tell us about that by chance?
For documenting water quality benefits, I think that would be based on the phosphorus calculation.
So you're involved with that. Okay. So clearly you're going to be part of this whenever this comes up. I want to jump to one thing, and of course, the other managers can certainly ask you, but regarding the signage, signs will be available to promote, they're encouraged for public use, and they're required for the full lifetime of community grant projects. This might seem redundant or out of place, but I just want to make sure that while as much as we want to use signage to make this, to create awareness at the very least, that sometimes we don't need it. So I'm assuming that this is going to be discretionary on our part. We want a 10-foot sign in your backyard so we can show everybody, right? We're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
So I assume that that's okay, gentlemen. Sounds reasonable.
Did you want them just for the community grants or all the plant grants or stewardship grants in general? Or
Again, so if something comes up and, you could certainly help us here.
Mhm.
You could certainly make a suggestion. When these things come up, well, I think that, we should have some signage here. They've got 2 acres on the side of the road, that sort of thing. Maybe that would be a good idea. You know, I don't want billboards or anything, my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's an idea, and so for everything if possible.
I think it's an educational purpose.
Yeah.
And so if people can't see it, then it doesn't,
Right.
doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think it's also real valuable to have the homeowner, enthusiastic, or at least, pretty accepting of the concept of having a sign there.
Yes.
That way we get a positive message out of the process rather than, oh, they made me put a sign up or something.
Right.
I don't think we want to go there.
Yeah,
I
I think most people are pretty excited to talk about their projects and share them with people too. And I do think
Good.
of all the ones to require a sign for, I think it would make sense to require it for community grants because there are more community spaces and people have access to them. And maybe the other ones are a case by case basis.
On a case by case basis, but
Yeah.
certainly the community grants are
Mhm.
rather, obvious, so. Okay. Next one. Yes.
What do you think about the minimum 250 square feet of planting area? Is, is that enough of an area that we're having substantial? And I mean, a lot of my concern is in the past has been, there's this, little patch near their house and it's kind of a flower bed, rather than something a little more, community based or not,
Yeah.
a little bit more,
Substantial.
yeah, something more substantial.
I think most projects end up being more than that 250 square feet.
Mhm.
Anyway, I can't think of any off the top of my head that were smaller than that. So I think we end up meeting that threshold. And I think I recommended that threshold because a lot of the planting kits that are like pre-put together from like Minnesota Native Landscapes or Prairie Restorations are for 250 square feet to make it more accessible for urban landowners who might not have enough space to set aside for something bigger,
Mhm. Mhm. Okay.
or like a boulevard planting.
And if it's 100 square feet and there's dire need to have that examined, then we go for it. And of course, there's documentation to indicate that,
Mhm.
You remove the outhouse and we want to do something, I know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Nutrient rich soil.
Yeah, it is, wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
Okay. Gentlemen, anything further on that section, the native plant grant? Okay, so the stewardship grant, you're proposing an increase from $2,500 per pound to $5,000 per pound. Help us out here. And
Yeah, I was doing some file searching and I came across some files from like 2008, 2009, where the payout was at that time still $2,500 per pound of phosphorus. And these projects tend to be the larger projects where contractors are hired to do the implementation work, so they get expensive pretty fast. So in my mind, that is one of the barriers to implementation for some of the bigger projects. My hope would be that we could get more projects in the ground by offering a little bit more of an incentive because costs have gone up pretty significantly.
so on the stewardship grants, when somebody does something, their request, 5,000 per, I want to make sure that it's not, their request is below that. Let's say it's 2,500 or 1,500 or something. We're not going to give them $5,000, correct?
Oh, no, it's based on actual cost of the project.
Okay,
And a lot of the people that are implementing those types of projects now are doing it themselves and they have the tractor and they have all the equipment to do it themselves. A lot of them aren't hiring out that work.
so it sounds like they're a fairly sizable piece of property. Yes, sir.
I wish I would have researched it a little bit for now, but because $5,000 a pound sounds like a lot, but I'm thinking like to our stabilization projects, John, that we do in ravines. And the cost per pound of phosphorus, there, I think would make this look pretty small. I don't know, but if I would have looked it up, that would be my guess. So, I mean, if you're looking at saving phosphorus from getting into the St. Croix,
Yeah, there's much more to it than that,
yeah,
but I just wanted to square that away.
Yep.
So, yeah, I personally don't need any further convincing.
Okay, but all reimbursements are based on actual project costs. Everybody submits receipts to me, I go through them.
Okay.
Yep.
Cost barriers. I realize that there's fewer and they're done under different circumstances. You know, sometimes the efficacy is not there, or whatever. Okay. And we have project examples. Any further comments from any of the managers? No crickets this time of year. Right? Okay. Okay. WC memos include, I'm going to go over this. Project rationale. One of my complaints, you could call it that, was that we get this little piece of paper that says they want this. And if it's not too much trouble, burdensome to you or cost wise, that it includes as much information as possible so that we have an added justification for everything we do. You don't have to name every single plant species that's going in or all the different sort of hymenopterans. See if that didn't get just attention. Yeah, there's more than just honeybees out there. So you're doing that, obviously. You're ahead of me or us, as I see it. So I sincerely appreciate that. But it's always better to show a map, show everything, because at the very least, we can explain this.
Mhm.
If somebody questions us, look, here's why we did this, and also it's a good record to have, you know.
Yeah.
We keep all these, okay. Plant list, species, you have all this information,
Yes.
okay. Okay, so today, no one has anything further. We're going to approve the native plant grant criteria here. And I have the list here of the 3 items at the very least. So I'm not ready to make or if anybody wants to, a motion on this, but certainly to examine this or comment before we go there. Or is everybody more or less in agreement or understands what's happening? Is that up there, John? Right behind me?
Put it up there, Mr. President. I
Yes,
just
sir.
want to note that
Yeah.
on the blue box of the memo
Yeah,
and the requested board actions on page 3,
yeah,
it does not include anything about the reimbursement rate for the stewardship grant. So if the managers would like to also change the reimbursement from $2,500 per pound to 5,000, they should include that in the motion.
very good, sir. Okay. So how do the managers feel about that 2,500 to 5,000? Does that seem reasonable? You made an easy case for that. I agree. What do you think, Rick? What are your,
Yeah, without, I mean, I think at one point I took a look at, some of the costs. That was quite a while ago. I think that it probably is justifiable in terms of, how much it does cost to produce these types of projects.
okay.
Mhm.
All right. So if nothing further, I'm going to take a stab at making a motion for our required manager actions. So I'm going to make a motion to approve the native plant grant criteria addition, 250 square feet minimum, or the exceptional / benefit documentation for board review. And Adopt the repeat applicant 3-year rule with phased-in merit-based exception. Affirm the signage policy available for all programs encouraged for publicly visible sites required for community grants for projects through lifetime. And raising our stewardship grant reimbursement rate from $2,500 per pound of total phosphorus to $5,000 per pound for total phosphorus.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
Aye.
All right.
Aye,
Hi,
that was fast. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Listen, again, not to bloating or anything, too excited. Thank you again for all your help and for allowing us to talk to you and explaining things over and over. This is a win-win for all of us, so.
Well, thank you. Valley Branch is my favorite watershed.
Is it really? Oh, my God. Now I'm gonna get these.
Yeah.
Get us started with it.
Wow.
Enter my presentation.
Oh, man.
Yeah, next time. The 2026 recap. That's what it'll be.
Awesome. I guess you're gonna pack your bags, but, we'll,
Oh, do you need some more?
well, do we need, Ms. Thompson for anything? No.
I thought you instructed me to leave. For that. When I got here.
Oh, we need your help, yeah.
Stay if you want.
Thank you for hanging out.
Yeah, thank you so much.
A safe and warm drive. Okay? And we will be in touch.
All right, thank you.
All right. Good night. Okay. Well, that was absolutely pleasant. Okay, we got that squared away. Administrator engineer. Baytown Community Center rules. Mr. Engineer, I certainly have an opinion on this, but tell us very briefly. I know we've seen this.
Mr. President, I just included a copy of
Yep.
email and I guess a response from a person at Baytown Township regarding what they would like us to do with this room and we're done meeting here.
So we don't do windows. We don't clean the floor.
I
Right?
appreciate it if we sweep the floor if it looks too dirty or dirtier than what we came here with. There's a room back in.
Okay, I thought you said we're gonna have like that mini Zamboni or whatever, and we're gonna come out here and do this. My opinion is that they've been very generous with us. They haven't charged us for anything. And we've used these facilities, the electricity, everything. We've held more than just our 2 meetings here. And it's a great venue. They've been very kind to us. So while I certainly don't want to volunteer for any labor beyond putting things back, that some groups donate $100 to $200 annually. And I'm certainly not suggesting that we go out and, pick dandelions or whatever, clean the weeds or edge the lawn.
chase the chickens back to the farm.
And the cats, the cat that ripped up my, yeah, never mind. Yeah, a little wild cat. So I'm gonna cut to the chase here, if I may, and suggest that we pay them $200 annually. I don't know how the managers feel about that. That seems extremely reasonable.
I would even be willing to go more than that. I mean, we're in here 25 or more times a year. That'd be about $10, less than $10 per meeting. I don't know, personally, I'd be okay with 500 a year or something donation to them. I mean, that's only like $20 per meeting that we would be giving them. It's a pittance compared to what a meeting costs us.
What would, not to cause any conflict or anything, but what was Lake Elmo gonna do to us back in the day? They wanted us to
As far as I don't recall them
call.
requiring a fee. I just
Okay.
they had lots of rules and regulations that
Right,
demands.
yes, sir, that I certainly didn't appreciate at the time. Maybe things have changed, but yeah, it was good to come here. Yeah, and we're very happy. You want You wanna give them $500?
Well, $20 a meeting?
Wait,
I mean, look at it that way.
what do you think, Rick?
Certainly
Budget
crossed my
is-
mind.
What's that?
It certainly crossed my mind that, you know, it is very, very good.
I looked at the hundred
Right.
to 200 as available. So
Yeah.
I know.
500,
Yeah.
500 really
And-
seems, I mean. 500.
And I would imagine that we're probably one of the main users of the building,
Are we really
I would think,
beyond their
you know,
meetings? 'Cause
for
the
numbers
Meetings
of,
are monthly.
number of meetings.
I'd give them 500 if we didn't have to sweep.
Yeah.
They might give us a break on the sweeping. if we gave them
Let's
$500.
do that, yeah, yeah. Manager Armstrong.
No sweeping.
Yeah, that's an excellent stipulation. Maybe we should add that, but I'm all for it, so. Without further ado, I can go ahead and make a motion unless somebody else would like to.
I'll make a motion that we
Yes.
offer them $500 a year for our, you know, as a token for our use of the meeting room.
Right, and that's it, right?
I'll second.
So moved and seconded.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
it's done. Thank you, gentlemen. I'm sure they'll appreciate that. Yeah, thank you, John. No sweepage. Okay. All right. We got that squared away. Counselor, you're up.
Hello, I don't have much to update with the insurance. I've gone through a couple iterations where they're asking for more information, and on Tuesday, they have put out feelers to receive quotes, and it sounds like Amwins has responded and is also requesting more information. So I'm in the process of completing what Amwins in particular is looking for to generate a quote. So no quotes yet, but I anticipate I'll have them for you at the end of at the February meeting.
It's you, so we're glad you're here with us.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, that's where we're at with that.
Mhm.
Very good. All right, and were you covering, maybe I'm getting ahead here, the request for the applications for
The tax
yes,
exemption.
yes, yeah.
You approved that in the consent calendar tonight,
We did, okay.
and I have the paperwork. I just thought I'd bring it to you to sign at the end
Okay.
tonight.
I forgot. Okay, thank you.
No, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, I was just making sure.
And we'll make sure that gets mailed in, before the end of this month.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Torrey. Appreciate that.
Mhm.
Okay. Inspector. Jeff.
Yes, President Marchand,
Thank you.
managers, just to follow up on the comment about insurance. I have been checking, I did check last week and today I checked the Sunnybrook home, the homes to be demoed. There's no issues, there's no activity. We have some neighbors down on Legion who we know about, who we've, given permission to go and salvage out of there, which they've been great about. And they want to salvage the doors as soon as we're getting ready to demo. So it's not like we're not having any issues with people going in these sites. I just wanted to bring that up. It's always that question, well, between now and whenever, I don't know when we're gonna demo, probably this spring at this point. And so we just have that gap, but we're not having any issues, that I've seen, like what maybe I saw out on Keats when we had the abandoned farmhouse out there and the kids were going in there and people were dumping. There was enough stuff dumped there already from the previous owner. And then people were coming in and dumping stuff in there. And then there were kids were coming in and, who knows, light a fire or whatever, graffiti on the walls. That doesn't do much, but you always worry about like, is someone gonna light a match and then get stuck in the place or something, but
Ouch.
we're not having any issues. I just wanted to bring that up, that there's nothing, no problems with the sites at all. And especially like Legion has got a neighborhood right there. And the other one has neighbors and it's in the country, so, there's no footprints around the place at all.
I thought maybe the kids were being back ice skating in Legion Pond. Whatever.
Maybe if Lake Elmo put a park in there, they could access it and skate from that side.
Should be telling them that.
Yeah,
That's a
a
thought.
skate park.
Wow.
Wow.
Be another can of worms, liabilities and all that.
So,
Never mind.
other than that, I just checked up on a couple of sites that had started, but really, obviously with this weather, there's not much going on, but I made notes of some late starting projects that will have to have some erosion control in for spring. You know, they're always looking at like, you I gotta put it in, it's like, because when it thaws out in March and you can't get out here, then what are you gonna do? You know, so.
Yeah, I was thinking this thing with the door removal and all that, the salvage operations that people are engaging in. As long as it's legal and everything, I'm all for it, because it's like giving back to the community. Why let these things go to waste, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And it's, taxpayer money that's paying for all of this, tear down, so.
It's less for us to pay to haul away.
Is that right? Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
that's even better.
yeah, it's less to haul away. So I think we just, like I said, we've got a couple folks are on the street. As soon as we say the home's gonna be demoed at this date, then they'll come in and remove the doors beforehand. Obviously, we don't want houses sitting in the winter with no doors on them. It's a bad look. It's
Yeah,
just not a good thing, right?
Yeah.
You have it filling with snow and critters, you know.
I need some 6-panel interior doors, let me know. I'm kidding. Okay,
I don't know if there's any doors left in
yeah,
the three homes in Winchester. The doors are all gone inside.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff is gone.
anything else around, the district? Nothing of any?
No, just waiting. I think it's the time of year we'll start seeing some pre-construction meetings. I think there's, you know, like there's that building in Afton. I think you approved at the last meeting. That should be coming up pretty soon. I would think some kind of meeting.
With the pond and the iron?
Yeah, so that was right in the corner of Manning and Hudson Road.
Oh, yeah.
And they won't start on it till spring, I wouldn't think, but
From the road site by Bridgewater Village. Is under construction.
they started, yeah, I actually drove by there today. They moved some dirt and they're gonna start on their footings.
They're doing that in these temperatures?
I just let they push the dirt right up to the silt fence, protecting the infiltration base. I was like, really? You couldn't meet it, yeah. You had to put it right up against the fence. That's the kind of stuff that I see and have to deal with, right? It's like, okay, you just spent how much on that infiltration basin? $100,000 plus. You know, there's no problem now. I'm just saying, you know, it just, you see the possible failures. You've been doing it long enough. You see, oh,
Nice.
could be a problem and someone's gonna have to pay for that.
We can only hope that our new inspector is as badass as this guy.
No,
That's all I'm saying.
and I was gonna bring that up, nothing further at this point. Oh,
No, they're not pushing me out of the way.
No,
To get it.
hang in there, hang in there. Okay.
No problem.
Yeah. I'll have to figure that one out. Okay, now, thank you, by the way, Mr. Inspector. All right. Rick, your report.
Yeah, thank you. So things are going along, just fine. Yes, swimmingly. All appropriate for a watershed district. The investments we're gradually pulling out of the fixed rate investment. Those are paying off because they're a 2-year kind of note. You know, I mean, we're getting the entire interest for the 2-year period at the end of the, you know, as they mature. We've got some that are in the process of maturing right now. And we'll have some in June and then again next January. And they're generally $400,000 each. So once those are done, the plan right now is to not reinvest, into fixed rate securities. So it'll all be in the money market fund and available that way. You can take a look at the numbers here. We'll have approximately, a little over $6.5 million available at some point.
Nice.
let's see. So one of the things that I want to do here is, just as a motion, have, that I'm proposing that I propose that all $400,000 from the general fund be kept in the 4M money market account so that it's available for possible future acquisitions acquisitions of landlocked basins,
Is that,
surety repayment or other expenses. And so that's a motion.
is that collecting interest by chance?
Yeah, it certainly collects interest.
Okay.
What we're running into at this point is, rates are going down.
Yeah.
And the money market rates obviously go down faster than the fixed rates do. But it's not, in relative terms, it's not that much more that we could potentially earn. And I think it simplifies things and gives us flexibility in terms of the availability of the cash if we have the opportunity to purchase more of the homes.
And one more thing, future concern with government, I don't know if it's state or federal, about us amassing wealth, so to speak, interest income, if that's
Right.
some sort of a problem.
Yeah, we would need to take that out of the general
Okay.
fund account there if we needed to do that. It's not clear that that's an issue at all.
Nothing's looming.
Right,
Okay.
right. So I would propose that. Can I have a second on it?
I'll make a second that.
It's
Okay.
been moved and seconded.
Aye.
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 Make it so, sir. Thank you.
And then the other part
Yep.
is, since the purchase of the homes
Mhm.
that we've made, all the proceeds from the bonds have been spent. More than all the money that we received from the bonds has been spent on the purchase of homes and the expenses related to that.
Okay.
And so at this point, in the 4M account, what we were doing is just taking the money out of the general fund, not out of the specifically designated bond proceeds account. That account had a little over $2 million. And we've withdrawn basically more than we had in the bonds. And so what I'm asking to do here is to move all of the money into the general fund, and we'll close the bond proceeds account. It will simplify, our reporting here and, just clean things up and connect the two. It originally wasn't pulled out of, the one account because it was so periodic in terms of how we knew which money was appropriate to spend out of the bond proceeds account.
Okay.
Okay, so that means I propose moving all of the funds from the bond proceeds sub-account into the general fund and closing the sub-account.
All right.
And that's a motion, right?
That's a motion.
I'll second that also.
Aye.
Move and seconded.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Thank
It
you.
is passed. Thank you.
Then the other thing,
One more item.
Engineer Hansen handed out the sheet on the outstanding indebtedness. That kind of goes to where we are in terms of how much we have left. I know that Ed, last meeting or something, you had asked,
Yes.
well, how much is left on this? Are we done yet? And this lays it out. This is a document that needs to be submitted to, is it the state of Minnesota that takes it?
Ramsey, Washington.
Ramsey, Washington. Okay.
Oh,
Before, and I guess I'll point out a couple of numbers, in 2025, before we paid on January 1 of last year, we owed $5,200,000 approximately. We paid off $415,000 of that. And so we're down to 4,790,000. I'm not used to these big numbers. And then again, this year we paid an additional $420,000 in principal. So we paid down $420,000 already. That was last meeting that the checks went out.
So we're closer to the 4 million. That's the 4 million that we owe, correct?
Closer, yeah, we're about 4,300,000 and some thousand that we owe.
And we're making our annual payments.
Yes,
So,
doing that just fine. And this is mostly just so that, we all are aware of what it is our debt is
excellent. Yeah.
and being aware of it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nothing further.
Nothing further.
Thank you.
Mhm.
A lot of work there. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Glad.
One more, totally unrelated. You've been getting out and running in this weather or?
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah, I was out Wednesday, I think. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. It's a little tougher when there's 3 inches of snow on the ground, but generally it's not too bad.
You're embarrassing me, Rick. All right, nothing for you then. Thank you once again, sir.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, you bet.
Anything from any of the managers? Okay. All right, that's squared away. The investment report. And now, some information. Yeah, go ahead.
I do have a couple things under managers, if that's okay.
Of course, please.
And I'll talk a little bit about the legislative event when we get to that in the meetings, but, so the, Minnesota Watershed Legislative Committee met yesterday. I just want to give you an update on where we're at with chlorides. I asked Jan that I would like affirmation from the group that we're gonna step away from the limited liability tactic, simply because it's gone nowhere for 2+ years, and so we are gonna do that.
Briefly explain that.
We were trying to get legislation passed whereby if applicators conform to smart pulping guidelines, for example, as published by the Pollution Control Agency, they would be protected from being sued.
Okay.
And the trial attorney said, no way, we're supporting that. She's not a
I
trial
was gonna
attorney.
say,
She's innocent.
I think this is much bigger than me.
I think the radar went up.
So there was way too much opposition on the background of the legislature to see that go through.
Okay.
How it was a reasonable and a good thing to consider.
Okay.
So now, if you were following our resolution process, we have a resolution to pursue a regulatory approach. So that's what we're gonna start doing. What that looks like, we don't know. The full Monty would be the PCA declaring it as a legitimate pollutant and putting standards on it that would limit the use and the runoff like they do with other things. We're not talking about that yet. What we are talking about now, Sean Masnick's a manager on Capital Region, and he's now on the legislative. He just got elected to the Minnesota Watershed Boards at the caucus meeting in December.
Okay.
He's also he has also worked for Metro Mosquito Control District. And as John has mentioned, he's trained as a pesticide applicator. And he said, it's not a heavy lift to consider companies that go around de-icing to have them do the training. And and, you know, have some regulation that would require them to do the training. But not add the limited liability thing on it. So it's more kind of an educational and kind of a BMP type approach to a requirement that de-icing applicators would have to get the smart salt training. So we're gonna try to see if we can make that work.
Okay. Nothing on oil dryer cat litter, huh?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, whatever BMPs that seem to work, like South Washington's chicken grid program was hugely popular, you know, I mean, like, it'd be great if all watershed districts could jump in and try to do that, you know. You know, it's gonna take many tools, I think, to fix this thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and in addition to, you know, regulatory approach, so.
Okay. Very good, sir.
Okay, and I have one other, thing to share. At the annual meeting, there was a presentation by USGS staff. Sarah Elliott and Richard Kiesling, they did work with Coon Creek to determine, what techniques would work for removing conventional contaminants as well as emerging contaminants such as PFAS from stormwater runoff. Then I went up and I talked to them afterwards, mainly because I wanted to see how Richard was doing, because we had collaborated with him and stuff. And we started talking about PFAS specifically, and I sent some of the stuff, you know, as a heads up, where I'm gonna mention it to you, John. They want to look, the gentleman's name is Jason McVeigh. And his colleague at USGS, they're physical scientists, but they have a 3M grant proposal in to look at PFAS levels in fish. So likely the St. Croix. The other thing they want to try to do in aquatic food webs, there's, in regards to contaminants, there's a process called bioaccumulation, whereby if a contaminant enters the bottom of the food web, as it moves up each level, it gets more and more concentrated. To the point where a top predator fish in the food web could have contaminant levels that are maybe 1,000 times higher than the lower levels of the food web, the plankton and the invertebrates and stuff like that.
Is that like biological magnification?
Yeah, basically, the term is either bioconcentration or bioaccumulation. And for some contaminants like mercury and PCBs, we know a lot about how that happens, but for PFAS, we really don't know anything. So they're thinking of doing an LCCMR grant to see if they can get funding to actually look at a food web approach to what's happening to PFAS in our local lakes. So Jason offered to come and talk to us about it, just about the project.
Brilliant.
Yeah, right here. And so me being the fish science geek, that sounded really good to me. As, you know, kind of a fun, I don't think they're looking for anything except maybe something like a letter of support if they go to the LCCMR for the grant. And I'd be happy to write that in a heartbeat. So I told him, we were exchanging emails. I told him I would discuss it with all of you tonight. And if you think it'd be interesting to have him come and do a talk to us here, then we can, you know.
It's like a toga party. Yep,
Yeah.
just do it.
Yeah,
Boy, it seems like Lake Elmo would be a perfect place to study that.
Elmo and also the St. Croix River. too.
They,
Yeah.
they would be sacrificing animals to do these studies,
Yeah, they do.
right? Okay.
Yeah, and, you know, PCA and MDH and the DNR all collaborate on a big statewide study that's been ongoing forever. So when the DNR goes out and do their regular surveys, if the DNR needs, if the PCA or Department of Health need fish from a certain lake, the DNR staff are taking out big rolls of tinfoil and rolling the fish up in tinfoil and freezing them. These are fish already collected from the sampling anyways, but yeah. So it does require sacrificial sampling to do the analysis. Okay, so. But if there's interest, I'll get back to him and then maybe we can maybe find, if we know of a specific meeting where the agenda's not gonna be too heavy.
Yes.
I was actually sort of, I think the next meeting might, there's a lot of complicated permits that will likely be on the next meeting agenda, and I think only 3 managers might be at the next meeting, so maybe
Yeah,
the
full house.
fourth Thursday of February at the earliest.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be here for the second February. Yeah,
But maybe March,
Yeah.
the fourth Thursday of March,
Okay.
the fourth Thursdays tend to be a little bit lighter than the second Thursday.
the fourth is better.
The fourths tend to have less on the agenda than the.
I think the fourth one, March, the second meeting in March, I think I'm off as well. I'm in Florida, sorry.
Well, at least you'll still be in the country. So,
Yeah,
you guys, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I told my wife that her good traveling plans are starting to be a little obtrusive in my,
You guys, international travelers, you sitting by myself. Hey, where'd you guys go? Yeah,
yeah, so maybe
fair enough.
April 23rd.
Yeah.
That's the second meeting and, okay. I'll see if that'll work for them.
At the very least, that would be extremely informative. But we need to do this anyway. You know, we need to have our wits about us and learn as much as we can, this chloride and all that stuff. I was gonna throw our attorneys under the bus on this one, because I recently went over there to sign some documents, and of course, I thought it was rock candy on their sidewalk, but I get it.
We don't have a say. It's our management company.
Oh, is that right? Is that what okay.
I have thought about it when I step on all the crunchy sand as I walk into the office.
That's right. Somebody gets to clean that up, huh? Okay. Thank you, Don. Extremely useful information. Thank you for your homework. That's good. It's helps us tremendously. All of the things we bring. Okay. So the watercraft inspection program, this is all laid out for us. With this information here, I can assume that we're going to be contributing again this year to have that as part of what we provide. There's some interesting stuff there. Some things real simple, seem real simple in that, you know, the more a lake is visited, the more likely there's going to be inspections, and also for odd things like zebra mussels. But the one thing that I'm a little concerned about is availability. I know that we're not always there, meaning the inspection people. And so maybe depending on certain lakes that are used heavily, that they could possibly step up those times if they're capable of doing that. So just a random note on that. But we welcome that and we need it. So that is my opinion. Anything else on the data? Anything, any comments that any of the managers would like to share?
Well,
Yes, sir.
I guess I'd like to say a little bit about, you know, what is, or, you know, kind of question a little bit about the process that's used for deciding which lakes will have how much inspection. I think it was Amber White had brought up at the meeting in Las Vegas. No, I was, whatever that was. That if we're to go the direction of trying to look at all of the lakes in the area for contamination with zebra mussels, then having Silver Lake as part of that process is worthwhile. But if Silver Lake were to get contaminated, that would kind of ruin our control lake. And there's some value in that. you know, I want them to be efficient about how they do their inspections. And I wonder if there's some way to explore other ways in which that could be addressed, you know, signage or something, you know, extra signage or something.
Right.
You know, that might be a way to reduce the chances of somebody coming in and bringing in zebra mussels.
We can ask our engineer, look up information, see what others are doing, to see if what Rick is suggesting that we might suggest to them to further enhance what they do, if that's possible.
And Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
Manager Goldman, I can have a conversation with Matt at Washington Conservation District and see if there's other efficient ways to do inspections with the
Right.
ultimate goal of preserving Silver Lake from being contaminated with zebra mussels.
Yeah.
And
Definitely
and
zebra
that
lake.
could be.
Definitely
shifting
Silver
some
Lake,
of
yeah.
the Staff time from one lake to another, or to get his ideas basically, since he's the manager.
Right.
And at the same time, I'm not, you know, I mean, I see why they balance it out the way they do, and it makes sense from a broad perspective.
Yeah.
But we've also got the notion of if we're looking to do a study, there would be some value in maintaining an, you know, a
Yeah.
control. Right.
Use the data that they gather.
Mhm.
And according to this, watercraft are the primary culprits. So step up the inspections, you know, I mean, it's all pretty obvious to see what we can do further. And then what that might cost us.
Watercraft are the culprit for some invasives, but not for all.
I thought you would defend yourself sooner or later.
Well, there's been two different risk analysis done
Yeah.
on zebra mussels, and the likelihood of a new introduction of zebra mussels coming out of the village of a watercraft is pretty darn low. Yeah. Most zebra mussels are getting transported from hard structures that aren't properly cleaned, like somebody sells a dock and moves it to a different lake. So, yeah.
Okay. And that may inform what is done to
Yeah.
maintain that control.
But I don't mean to speak against the inspection program, because it's.
No, not at all.
It's an excellent program.
Yeah,
Really.
I
wanna see what else
fully
we can
agree.
add.
I had a friend that did it after a career in fisheries, and he said it was.
T-shirt, sunglasses.
Yeah, pretty remarkable. I call him the weed cop. He said it was pretty impressive how much people really wanted to do the right thing, right?
Yeah.
So just the educational component
Mhm.
is pretty valuable.
Educational component.
So I guess that begs the question, should we have some sort of a different program where we really emphasize to the Silver Lake folks, if you're going to be bringing a new dock in, that we would offer a free inspection of the structure prior to it going in the water?
That's not a bad idea.
Or something like that. I
Mhm.
mean, if that's,
Are you suggesting we do this independently through a contractor? Or ask them to do this with extra funds? Just.
I don't know, right now I'm just
Yeah. We're
throwing
brainstorming.
something against the wall here, but,
Yeah.
it just seems to me, maybe people don't know what to look for or
Mhm.
something. And if we were to offer, this service, and I don't know if we could contract with the conservation district to do that or something, but I don't know, it's just an idea.
Certainly educate the inspectors,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
They've got to know
but
everything.
yeah, just let folks know on Silver Lake, if we want to focus on that. If you're bringing us a used structure in, we'll inspect it for you prior to it going in the water at no cost to you.
Those big duck things.
Mhm. Yeah, the floating docks, you know. Yeah, that's a good idea.
John Hanson, is the Goose Lake a different Goose Lake that I see on here?
Yes.
Okay, because it's like, there's no public boat launch on either of the Goose Lakes that I'm, that
There,
our
there
district.
there is, but it's not, the Lake Elmo Ice.
Oh, there's a new launch.
There's a new launch,
There's a
yeah.
new launch, yeah, not like, but not a,
Have you,
not
You
a.
can't drive your boat in.
Can't drive your boat.
Yeah.
have you guys seen anybody on that lake by chance? I
On
can't
Goose,
say. Yeah, on Goose. And are motors allowed on that?
I've never seen motors. I've seen
Yeah.
kayakers and canoes.
All right. Anything further, gentlemen? Okay. Not hearing anything else. We'll move on to our future business and meetings. February 12th and 26th, we will have a quorum, although some of you gentlemen will not be attending. I certainly will. Certainly here, tax season starting. Right for me. Okay. It's not that. So the 12th and the 26th, I assume we'll have a quorum. Gentlemen will let us know.
26,
Yeah, you're not gonna be here for that.
yeah, I'm not here. I called yours on the 26th last meeting, if you recall.
I won't be here as the first meeting. I will be here the 26th.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
It's same for me. I'll be gone the 12th and
Okay.
here for the 26th.
I'll be here for both of them.
Oh, thank you, sir. Okay. I don't feel lonely anymore. Okay. And, Don spoke about the Watershed legislative event. That's coming up March 3, right?
Yeah, so registration is open now through Minnesota Watershed. About $100.
Okay,
There's a regular evening social on the third. And then the fourth is reserved for meeting with your elected officials. So I think I offered last year to work with John or whoever to coordinate that. If any of you are interested in contacting our local representatives, senators, to see if they want to sit down with us and hear about
it's gonna be in Minneapolis.
at the Radisson, St. Paul,
Okay.
the one right in front of the Capitol. Used to be the
Kelly.
Kellyanne, yeah,
Okay,
so not too far away.
all right, we'll discuss that as time permits, as things
Well,
change, whatever.
I think if we think we want to meet with our elected officials on the fourth, it'd be good if we can decide that tonight, because we need to contact them and schedule it.
Okay, unfortunately, I don't want to say I'm not interested, but I haven't made any, overtures, to do that sort of thing. Gentlemen, anybody?
I think Don's gonna be there. He well represents us.
Yeah.
You're on.
Okay, well,
Mr. President, managers, last year when we did this, some of the elected officials have forms that you need to submit if you want to request a meeting with them. Some of them, you just email their assistant. And I could work with Vice President Vera to develop or to revise last year's letter,
yeah,
basically.
okay.
Please, yeah,
And I can, rather than be a one-man army, I could team up with South Washington and they're gonna see,
Yeah.
shared representatives that,
Last year, we worked with Karen Kell, because one of the representatives who
oh, that's right,
would
Karen, yeah.
meet with us, covers the Oak Park Heights area, so most of his area was really in Browns Creek, but a little
Yeah.
bit around the high school was within Valley Ranch.
we benefit, so.
Also,
Then you get over to the west side of Valley Branch, and then it's all Ramsey, Washington, because a lot of those districts are small because it's densely populated and a lot of shared elected officials between the two districts.
Very good. Okay.
Well, if you want to reach out to our adjoining district neighbors, John, and, I'm gonna just keep the day open.
Okay.
And, we met with Johnson too, didn't we?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you, John. Thank you, Don.
Yeah.
All right. One more item. Let's do adjourn.
Second.
Second?
Then moved and seconded.
Aye.
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 Here, adjourn, everybody.